There are places in this world where history fades into legend, where the truth is buried beneath whispers, forgotten records, and the uneasy feeling that some stories were never meant to be explained. On this podcast, we step into the shadows of real events, real places, and the mysteries they left behind. Because sometimes the past doesn't stay buried. Sometimes it waits. Welcome to the obscure. There are places where the sea doesn't simply crash, it watches. Where wind doesn't just howl, it speaks. 33 miles west of Scotland's Outer Hebrides stands a cluster of jagged rocks known as the Flannan Isles, beautiful, remote, unforgiving. On the largest of them, Eilean Mòr, a lighthouse was built to protect ships from the Atlantic's merciless teeth, but in December 1900, the lighthouse light went out, and when a relief vessel finally arrived, 3 men had vanished. No bodies, no signs of struggle, no answers. Tonight in the obscure, we stand alone at the edge of the world. The Flannan Isles, sometimes called the Seven Hunters, had long been steeped in superstition. Local shepherds spoke of little men. Fishermen refused to stay overnight. Even hardened seafarers claimed the islands felt watched. In 1899, the Northern Lighthouse Board constructed a lighthouse on Eilean Mòr. It stood 75 feet tall, white against black rock, staring endlessly westward into the Atlantic. It required 3 men at a time to operate, and in December 1900 those men were James Ducat, principal keeper, experienced and steady; Thomas Marshall, second assistant, quiet and methodical; and Donald MacArthur, occasional replacement keeper, known ashore as fiery-tempered. They were not mystics, and they were not fools. They were lighthouse men, disciplined, practical, reliable, until they weren't there anymore. On December 15, 1900, the steamship Archtor passed through the area. The captain later reported something unusual. The lighthouse was dark. In winter, that wasn't a small oversight. It was life or death. But due to severe weather, no one could reach the island immediately. It wasn't until December the 26th, 11 days later, that the relief vessel Hesperus arrived under the command of Captain James Harvey. And even before landing, something felt wrong. No one was at the landing platform. No one waved. No one signalled. Relief keeper Joseph Moore rowed ashore alone. He climbed the 160 steps carved into rock. He later said he felt dread. The door was closed. Inside, the kitchen table was set. A chair was overturned. The clock had stopped. 1 set of oilskins was missing. 2 were still hanging. That detail chilled investigators. Lighthouse protocol was strict. 2 men never left the station at once, and no one left without full storm gear. Yet 2 oilskins remained, meaning at least 1 man had gone outside improperly dressed in December on Atlantic cliffs. Moore searched every room. Empty. He called their names, and only the wind answered. Inside, the lighthouse logbook contained strange entries. On December the 12th, Thomas Marshall recorded severe winds, the likes of which I have never seen before. On December 13th, storm still raging, James Ducat very quiet, Donald MacArthur crying. MacArthur, known ashore as a hardened, combative man. And then, on December 15th, storm ended, sea calm, God is over all. After that, nothing. But here's the unsettling truth. Meteorological records show no major storm in the area on those days. Ships nearby reported ordinary winter seas. So what storm were they experiencing? And why did 3 seasoned men seem afraid? Investigators examined the western landing platform. There, they found evidence of wave damage. A supply box smashed, iron railings twisted, a rope torn from its mooring 100 feet above sea level. It was clear that at some point enormous waves had struck the island. The official conclusion was this. 2 men went to secure equipment during rough weather. A rogue wave swept them away. The 3rd man ran to help. He too was taken. Case closed. But the sea doesn't write log entries about crying men, and it doesn't stop clocks. Over the past century, many explanations have surfaced. Number 1. A rogue wave. Massive Atlantic swells can surge unexpectedly. A 100-foot wave could have swept all 3 men from the rocks. Plausible, but why leave the lighthouse unmanned simultaneously? 2. Murder and madness. Some suggest MacArthur, described as volatile, killed the others during a fit of rage. But there was no blood, no sign of struggle, and why would he then disappear himself? And number 3. Secret removal. Conspiracy theorists have claimed foreign agents, sea creatures, even paranormal entities, but there's no evidence, only silence. Imagine it. You are on a rock, alone, for weeks. The Atlantic roars endlessly. Wind shrieks through stone corridors. No trees, no birds, no voices but your own. Isolation changes men, even steady ones, even trained ones. Modern psychologists suggest cabin fever, amplified by extreme weather, could distort perception. Perhaps the storm recorded was psychological, the men experiencing dread, pressure, or shared panic. But that doesn't explain how 3 bodies vanish without a trace. Years later, poet Wilfred Wilson Gibson wrote, "And when we reached the door, we saw the dead men lying there." But in reality, no bodies were ever found. No wreckage, no fragments. The Atlantic kept them. Today, the lighthouse is automated. No keepers remain. Tour boats occasionally circle the rock. Visitors describe something difficult to articulate. A heaviness, a feeling of intrusion, as though the island does not welcome witnesses. The steps remain, the railings replaced, the wind unchanged. And sometimes locals claim, on particularly grey winter evenings, the light appears to flicker, even when it shouldn't. Here is the image that lingers. 3 men, standing on black rock, watching a wall of water rise out of the Atlantic. Perhaps one turns to shout, perhaps another reaches, and then, white, cold, gone. Or perhaps the storm they feared never touched the sea at all. Perhaps it was inside the tower, inside the mind, inside something watching from the cliffs long before the lighthouse ever stood there. In 1900, 3 lighthouse keepers disappeared from Eilean Mòr. No bodies recovered, no definitive explanation, just a light that went dark, and an island that keeps its secrets. Next time you see a lighthouse standing alone against the sea, ask yourself, is it protecting ships from the ocean, or warning them away from something on land? Just remember, when the wind calls your name, don't answer. And remember, stay curious, stay cautious, stay obscure.